So if you look at the title of this video, you may think that it's a very serious video. But if you were to see the thumbnail and you were to really look at the thumbnail and see what the thumbnail was, oh, you would know this episode's just for the memes, just to have fun. I mean, you have to have fun every now and then. You can't just all be serious. You gotta just have fun and play around a little bit. And that's what this episode is all about. So why don't we together slurp up today's episode of Star Wars Nerds and Geeks. So someone commented on a video I made a little bit ago and said that I should make a what if series. So here you go, first episode of the what if series. And in this one, I'm going to be talking about Grievous and Obi-Wan and how in Revenge of the Sith, This is Imperial Officer Venturius warning all of you that there is a spoiler alert right up ahead. That's right, spoiler alert if you have not watched Revenge of the Sith yet. Venturius, I'm pretty sure that most people watching this video have seen Revenge of the Sith. This is Imperial Officer Venturius once again. That is true, NG, but you never know. So, okay, well, I guess if you haven't watched Revenge of the Sith, you just shouldn't watch this video because you'll be spoiled for it. But if you have watched Revenge of the Sith, then continue on watching. So in Revenge of the Sith, Obi-Wan kills Grievous in a very uncivilized manner, may I add. But I was thinking, what if Grievous actually killed Obi-Wan? This is very unlikely because Obi-Wan was much more skilled than Grievous, and Grievous was really a coward, so he wouldn't be able to defeat Obi-Wan because he would have just been constantly running from the fight. But in a theoretical world, maybe Grievous could win, and of course, we're in a theoretical world right now. Hey, would you look at that? It's just perfect. In a theoretical world, Grievous kills Obi-Wan. And the question is, what would happen to the galaxy after that? Well, I did a little bit of theorizing, and, well, the entire galaxy would be a whole lot different. So let me try and tell you the story chronologically. Grievous ends up killing Obi-Wan. How does he kill him? I don't know, he just beats him somehow. It doesn't really matter. But Grievous kills Obi-Wan, and he takes Obi-Wan's lightsaber, and it makes a fine addition to his collection. And then sometime later, Palpatine executes Order 66. And at this point, Grievous is so pumped because all the Jedi are suddenly being killed. All the Jedi are dead. And you know what that means? Dead Jedi equals free lightsabers. So at this point, Grievous is just, the second he learns about Order 66 and that all the Jedi are dead, Grievous is touring the entire galaxy, taking all their lightsabers and just building up his collection. And Grievous is just becoming the most, I don't even know what you would call him. He's the collector of lightsabers. He has every single lightsaber that all Jedi would have. His collection is the finest collection of all. As you know, with great collection comes great responsibility. Or something like that. I'm not that wise, I don't really know. So Grievous has a giant horde of lightsabers, and this power starts getting to his head because he is the owner of, as I've said, he's the owner of all the lightsabers in the world, the finest collection of all. And that starts to get to his head, and that starts messing with him. And he suddenly realizes how powerful he is. Because not only does he have all the lightsabers, which is a symbolic power of his, not only does he have that, but he also has the entire droid army under his control. I mean, sure, Dooku is the leader of the Separatists, and Palpatine is the leader of Dooku, but Grievous is the one who was the leader of the droid army. Dooku kind of controlled everything, and Sidious controlled everything, and Grievous was small in that structure, but that was good for him, because that meant that he had direct control over the entire droid army. And now that he's in control of the entire droid army, and he has a massive collection of lightsabers, the power gets to him, and he realizes that he can become the next warlord of the galaxy. And at this point, I'm going to actually switch focus. Up until now, I've been talking about what would happen because Grievous survived. But now I want to talk about what happened because Kenobi died. Well, first, the main thing that happens because of this is, in my opinion, Anakin gets saved. Let me backtrack a little bit. The reason that Padme went to Mustafar to check on Anakin is because Obi-Wan went to her and he told her all the terrible things that Anakin has done. And if Obi-Wan isn't there to tell her that, then she will never go to Mustafar. And if she never goes to Mustafar, then Obi-Wan will never go to Mustafar because, again, he's dead and Padme hasn't gone. So neither of them are at Mustafar. So therefore, Anakin doesn't get to kill Padme and believe that Obi-Wan is stealing his girl. He doesn't get to believe any of that because they were never at Mustafar. So therefore, Anakin doesn't fall further to the dark side, and he doesn't solidify his place in the dark side by killing, or by essentially killing Padme. So at this point, Anakin hasn't fallen all the way to the dark side. And the way that I see what would happen is after Anakin kills all the Separatist leaders on Mustafar, he would go back to Padme and he would ask her to join him in his fight in his conquest of the galaxy. He would ask her to be his right-hand woman. He would ask her to join him, as I said. And at this point, Padme would be able to steer Anakin away from the dark side and towards the light side. As I said in a previous video, why did Anakin turn to the dark side? I said that the reason that Luke was able to save Anakin was because he believed in Anakin, because at this point, now Anakin finally had someone who was on his side, and that's the reason he was saved. And if Padme was on his side at this point, and Anakin knew she was on his side, well, then he would end up turning back to the light side. So Anakin is now back on the light side, and Grievous is a warlord trying to take over the galaxy, and all the Separatist leaders are dead, and Sidious is still none the wiser. So now what happens? Now things are getting very spicy. See, we have three factions. We have Grievous with the droid army, we have Sidious with the clone army, and we have Anakin with the Anakin Padme army, which is a very powerful army. Totally is stronger than the droid and clone army combined. Like, strongest army out there. So what happens is Grievous is using his droid army to continue the fight of the Separatists to try and take out Sidious and try and take out all the remaining Jedi. Sidious still doesn't know that Anakin has turned, so he's focusing his attention towards Grievous. And now Anakin and Padme have a choice. They can either outright fight both of them, or they can sit back in the shadows and amass their power. And that's what they do. They amass their power. So they take senators like Bail Organa, Mon Mothma, and all the leaders of the rebellion, and they start amassing them, and they start amassing their forces, and they are able to start creating their own little rebellion, and they have Anakin as the leader of this rebellion. And the good thing is that nobody alive knows that Anakin has turned to the dark side. Anakin has killed every single person that knows that he turned to the dark side. The only person that knows is Palpatine. So Anakin is not under fire from anybody because they all believe that he's just been a Jedi this entire time, who luckily survived Order 66. So he's able to call on other Jedi to have them help him, and he's able to just get all these people to help him because he's still a good Jedi in their eyes, and he is a good Jedi, but they don't know that he turned to the dark side for a brief moment. So now Anakin is slowly amassing his power, and he's slowly gathering forces, and he has his own tiny little rebellion. And Grievous and Sidious are now at war with each other, and it's just like the Clone Wars again, except the difference is now that the droid army is not under the control of Sidious, is that it's actually a war. It's not some sort of sick game that Palpatine was playing. It is a legit war. So first, let's talk about Grievous. Grievous knows that the droid army will be able to destroy the clone army because droids are able to be mass-produced and clones are not able to be mass-produced as quickly as droids. So he can win the fight purely with numbers if he can get the resources. And Sidious knows this. So Sidious has to try to take out all the factory worlds, and Grievous has to try and protect all of his factory worlds, all while expanding his power. So you can see that the problem really lies with Grievous here, because Grievous has to defend worlds and expand, while Palpatine only has to attack. And it's really easy to attack, it's really hard to defend. So Sidious has a sort of advantage here. And not only that, but as we know, the entire Senate, the entire Republic, trusts Sidious, even though some may think that he's a Sith Lord. They don't really care. They believe in him. Because if you look at the Republic, there's no law against being a Sith Lord. It's not illegal. The only people who hated Sith Lords were the Jedi. Now that they're gone, there's no one to say that the Sith are bad. So as long as Sidious keeps showing people that he's a cool guy, they'll all like him. Doesn't matter if he's a Sith Lord. So Sidious and Grievous are fighting against each other, and Grievous has the disadvantage because he both has to defend and he has to expand, and his armies are not as strong. He has to waste a lot of droids to just take out a small amount of clones, and he, personally, is not as skilled as Sidious is. I mean, in this alternate reality, Grievous is more skilled and more courageous than he is in the real Star Wars universe, because as we see, he took out Kenobi. However, he's still not as strong as Sidious. So, Anakin on the sidelines sees this, and he realizes that it's going to be really hard to take out Sidious because he has so much support, and he has the clone army, and he just has everything on his side. Sidious has really planned everything perfectly. So he knows that the best thing to do is to aid Grievous to take on Sidious, and then after he aids Grievous, he is able to backstab Grievous and end up winning the war. So let's do a quick recap. We have Sidious, who everyone loves, is facing up against Grievous, who everyone hates, and they have to fight against each other. And they're pretty evenly balanced, even though Grievous has the upper hand, like he can overwhelm the clone army, but Sidious has the overwhelm in terms of positioning. And then Anakin's from the sidelines. Sidious doesn't know that Anakin's against him. Anakin has to team with Grievous and somehow gain his trust, and then later backstab him. Does that sound confusing? Well, just you wait. I'm going to add in a fourth party. That's right, Maul. So Maul is really mad at Grievous because Maul has a grudge against Kenobi. Maul wants to kill Kenobi, and yet Grievous kills Kenobi. So now Maul is empty inside. His purpose was fulfilled by this stupid little cyborg, and he wants revenge. So now Maul has to take down Grievous. So this is getting really confusing. We have the two superpowers of Grievous and Sidious, and then we have the small power of Anakin helping Grievous, and then we have the small power of Maul, who isn't directly helping Sidious, but Maul wants to take down Grievous, who is kind of helping Sidious in a way. So we have four players in this game, two teams, Grievous versus Sidious. What's gonna happen? Well, that's where the interesting thing happens. So what ends up happening, the way that I see it, is as Grievous and Sidious are fighting, and Anakin and Maul are secretly helping the opposing sides, Grievous and Sidious end up like getting back and forth, and they're kind of evenly matched because, like I said, Grievous has the better deal in terms of army and Sidious has the better deal in terms of positioning, so they're kind of evenly matched. They keep going back and forth, and at this point Maul comes in and he decides to take on Grievous himself. So he stakes out Grievous until Grievous is all alone, and he challenges Grievous to a duel one-on-one. And Grievous is proud, so he takes on the duel without having any backup, and they fight. And as they're fighting, Anakin looks over and he goes, well, since those two are fighting, and since Maul is probably going to win because Maul is better, this is the perfect chance for me to end up attacking Sidious. So what he does is he uses his army to break a little wall in Sidious's barrier, and he sneaks through, and he is able to confront Sidious on his own. And so now we have two lightsaber duels going on, which I wish I could animate and show you because they probably would be really epic, but you know, I'm not that good of an animator, so I can't do that. But just imagine it. We have Grievous and Maul duking it out, and then we have Anakin and Sidious duking it out. And at this point, what I'm going to say happens is that Maul beats Grievous because Maul is more powerful than Grievous, and Anakin beats Sidious because not necessarily because Anakin is more powerful than Sidious, even though it's complicated because Sidious is more experienced, but Anakin's more powerful. So it's a weird little shift. It's kind of like how do you know that Sidious would beat Yoda? I mean, Sidious beat Yoda that one time, but how would you know that that's what would really happen? It's really hard to figure out who would win that fight. But I'm going to end up saying Anakin, partly because it's cinematically more pleasing to have Anakin win, and partly because, well, Anakin's the chosen one, and he's more powerful, so I think that Anakin would win. And so now we have Maul and Anakin are now the two superpowers. But wait, all the droids are loyal to Grievous. And now that Grievous is dead, Maul, he's not in control of the droid army anymore, so that's a problem. And second off, Anakin, he defeated Sidious, and the Republic was loyal to Sidious. And so now what he has to do is he has to get his senators, Bail and Mon Mothma and Padme, and he has to tell them, listen, we have to get the Senate on our side so that they realize that Sidious was a bad guy. And so the senators work on doing that, while Anakin goes to the clone troopers. And since the clone troopers were following orders to Sidious because of the chip in their head, I would believe that Anakin would be able to convince at least like the 501st to join him, and from that like the 212th would join him, and then the 42nd, and then slowly more and more regiments and battalions would end up joining him until the entire clone army has joined Anakin. And with luck, the Senate would join him too because of Mon Mothma and Bail Organa and Padme. They're all really good senators. They're all really good speakers, so that I think they would believe them and listen to them. Then we have the Senate and the clone army on Anakin's side. We have Anakin in charge of the Republic, and at this point, Anakin is able to easily sweep over the droid army and completely erase them. Because remember, the droid army is without Grievous, so they are all on their own. They don't have a leader, so it's really easy to sweep them over. And the other person that we have left is Maul. The only resistance to Anakin's control of the galaxy is Maul, and that's just a simple matter of hunting down Maul and killing him or imprisoning him, whatever Anakin feels like. Honestly, Anakin would probably kill him, just knowing who Anakin is, but there is a chance he'll spare him. But that would take time, so over time, he is hunting down Maul, and this is only when he realizes that Maul is still alive and out there. So Maul is probably going to be a figure for a long time, but Maul is not really going to be able to do anything. And the galaxy is free and safe because of all the events that have transpired. So if Obi-Wan had died by Grievous's hands, then the galaxy would be better off? Well, in my opinion, yes, but that's just my opinion. Do you agree with me? Am I wrong? Have I missed something? Tell me all that in the comments. And as always, this is Star Wars Nerds and Geeks signing off. See you all next time.